Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 13 of season 18 in Division 3. We are here at Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. My name is Felix Von, and I'll be taking you through the action in tonight's race. Numi, once again, unavailable, but eventually you'll have him back, I would assume. So, for today, we've got a 12-car grid, I believe. If that's everyone who's joining, I think it is. With Mihai serving a qualifying ban after having exceeded 5 penalty points over the course of his last 18 races in Division 3 or so during this season. And he'll be starting from last, from 12th on the grid. Other than that, though, Flavors and Viral both here and both competing as normal. So our championship contenders all racing tonight. We are missing quite a few drivers, obviously. Edwin, Brian, Action Rick are not racing. Lucas quit his full-time seat. Harley quit his full-time seat. So that's why the grid is looking quite empty today, unfortunately. But hopefully over the next few weeks we can get that filled up a little bit again. But most of the typical names, the regulars of Division 3 are here. So I'm looking forward to see how this goes. And the first car that's coming out into the track is the Red Bull of Jules Valentine, I believe. So I'll go on board with him, have a look at his lap. And following him is a VCAM, I believe that is, on track maps. That would be Pix. Or Viral. That's Red Bull, okay. Yep, so both Red Bulls immediately out on track, everybody else still in the pit lane. So in terms of the championship fight, after all the stewards decisions last week, Flavors is the championship leader with 202 points, followed by Viral on 192. So he's 10 points behind, and then Mihai on 184, 18 points behind. Aussie is on 147, 55 points behind. So that's a real outsider shot now with only a handful of races left to go. Hungary being round 13. So including today, there is 6 races left to go, and of course the sprint race in Abu Dhabi, so I guess 6.5. So mathematically, there's still more than those 3 in contention, but realistically we are looking at Flavors, Mihai and Viral. And with Mihai having a qualifying ban today, he really is on the back foot, as he is going to be starting from dead last. But then for him it's quite helpful that the field today is a bit smaller, so he has less cars to overtake if he wants to get back up towards the front. There are a lot of clouds as well here. I wonder if we're gonna get some rain. Has anyone said something regarding that in the chat? Let's have a quick look. Heavy wet race and dry after 45 minutes, so it's a wet start and then maybe dry at the end. For the race, the qualifying seems to be all dry. Right now we're on board with a Jules Valentine. The first 3 corners already completed. The first sector is a 27.2. Now the 6th for this fast left-hander. And now 4th for this long 3rd even. Right-hander into the chicane. A crucial place lap break right where the curb starts on the left-hand side. Use all of track available on entry and exit halfway over the curb. Coming into this little S section. A little bit loose. And missing the apex a bit because of that. As the impact this line should be flat through here. Downdriven to 5th, and then back up to 6th. Braking at about 75 meters, now into the last sector. 2 corners to go, 2 slow hairpins. On the 2nd gear through here, I would think. Stays in 3rd all the way for active traction. And then into the last corner. Sends the car in. And loose on traction again, gets up on the curb on the inside, and that's a 1:17.163 by Jules Valentine. His teammate Viral over the line, 1:16.361. Up next, the Sauber of Maxi, followed by his teammate Ossi. Both finishing up a lap, as always a starting one in between them. Maxi, 17.3, Ossi, 16.2 goes fastest. Then we've got Dylan over the line with a 16.6. That's P3 for Dylan. Pix is starting it up, and so was Owise. So those two are the ones on hot laps right now. Flavor's also on his way to start one. Marcelio, Miai, of course, the qualifying ban. So Marcelio, Kaiser, and Bazooka still in the pits. The top 5, of course, have completed laps already. So we are looking at Owise and Pix now. Owise in that first sector with a 27.3. Let's go over to Pix and see what he puts in at the end of sector 1. It's a 27.6, I believe that was. But it's broken top left right now. Oh! I think something just broke. Oh no. Is it broken for me only, or has everyone just... Okay, it's for everyone. Well, that's interesting. There's one car still going around, I think. Alright. um, that's quite something. So that's gonna be a restart, obviously. Alright, we are back. Hopefully, second time's a charm, and we don't have any lobby issues this time. Starting qualifying from scratch. Weather will be the same as it should have been in the first lobby, so we set it to, since we have 3 weather icons in the lobby, we set it to full wet, and then I believe sun. So that should be similar to how it would have been in the first race. Of course, it's not possible to get it bang on, but roughly, it'll be wet, dry. Um, so wet start, and then some point near the end it should go dry. And there's evac as well, so the entire lobby is back in. And once again, they've got 18 minutes to complete their qualifying laps. And we'll see who comes on pole position. Of course, we have some idea now of the times from the first 5 or so people who managed to do that lap times for the lobby died. And then we got the first cars out onto the track after a solid minute. I'm not sure what the guys are up to. But yeah, Maxi the first one out onto the track, and then followed by one of the Red Bulls. So Viral also out. That's a V-Cup actually, that's evac. No clue why people are staying in the pit lane for so long. Suppose it's a short track, they have no rush to get 3 runs in. The first one then is Maxi. And we know now that the benchmark is roughly a low 116. So that's where the guys will be aiming for. Strategy-wise, I would expect actually quite a few 2-stops to be run today. I do personally think that the 1-stop is faster, but the 2-stop is definitely viable, and with less DL strains, especially on a smaller grid, it could be faster even. Well, we shall see if anyone goes for the 1-stop. So Ossi then, starting his lap. Well, to the first 2 corners already, fully flat through turn 3 of course. Now up the hill, into the middle sector, the first sector, sorry, this is Maxi, 27.3. Down to 4th gear through here. Back on the power as early as he dares. And down towards the chicane. All over the curb on the first, but maybe a bit too far over the curb. I think it unsettled his car quite a bit. And now in this section, Marcelio has left again. So he seems to be having connection issues. I'm glad that Mihai is hosting this time around then. He's not even online, so I can't invite him back in. But I guess Marcelio is having some bigger issues then. And into the last corner then for Maxi. The edge-enabled over the line, it's a 117.185, followed by his teammate Ossi up next, who passed Viral on the outlap it seemed. And there's a big group of cars short behind that, so Ossi about to go over the line, That is going to be a 116.363, which is pretty similar to what he did last time around. Now, Viral over the line, 116.175. Up next just Drills Valentine starting it up. Yep, so then we've got Dylan on an out lap. The Kaiser is on the hot lap. And the next car over the line. So the benchmark so far for Paul, 116.1. The slowest, a 17.1 from Maxi. But only 3 people have set laps so far. We're still waiting on laps from the other 8. Of course, Mihai serving a qualifying ban will not be putting any time on the board. Kaiser then into the last 2 corners of the lap. And this is a 1 minute and 19.218. Still behind him starts the lap. Up next we've got Always, who's coming to the end of the lap here. And after him, Haas of Flavor starting one. Ossie and Maxi, of course, got back to the pit lane. Always 16.876, that puts him into 3rd position. Drills Valentine then near the end of the lap already. Of course, hasn't put a lap on the board so far. And we'll see where he slots in here. Although he actually goes back into the pit lane. Not going to finish this lap. Not happy with Dylan hasn't validated. So look at Flavors then. Our current championship leader. With his main rival Viral currently on provisional pole position. His other rival Mihai will be starting from last. So there is some pressure on Flavors. He could really pull away from Mihai here if he performs. And make this a 2-way fight between himself and Viral. So far so good. Marcelio's back in the lobby as well now. So we've got our 12 drivers. Once again, fully flat by Flavors through here. 54.0 middle sector, purple. And he's got 2 corners to go now. Into the first of those 2 hairpins. Back on the power, using the last bit of ERS he still has. And now around the final corner. A little bit deep, I would say. That's a 1 minute 16.029. It is provisional pole position for the championship leader by 1.5 tenths. Ahead of DC Rival. Front row right now is the same top 2 as it is in the standings. Dylan going for another run here. 29 point... I think that's a pretty terrible first sector, no? Flavors 27.1. And Dylan 29.3. So this can't be a hot lap, surely. Yeah, he's on none ERS. Okay. Always is going again though. He's got a purple first sector. And it won't tell me the time, but let's check here. 27.2, so he's slightly improving. On a used tire as well. He hasn't been in the pit lane since that lap of him he did earlier. Bazooka behind him is also on a hot lap. I'm not sure if that's... Yeah, Bazooka just started the hot lap. Flavors is the one who's right behind him. Dylan goes back to the pit lane. Always into the last sector. Currently 4 fast and half a second of a gap to Ossie ahead of him, so it's unlikely that he's going to be getting a position here, unless he's on a massive improvement. But he can secure that P4 a little bit more, increase the gap to Maxi behind. Currently it's only 3 tenths. And over the line, that is a 16.874. He improves by exactly 1,000 of a second. Bazooka with the 27.4 first sector, it's a solid start in the lap. And now into this twisty section. Left, right, and right again. Let's keep it flat through here. It's a small lift. A 55.0 middle sector. Can he join his teammate in the front of the field, on the front row maybe even? Second gear for the exit, now short shifting to 3rd. And sends the car into the last corner. Autotech mode available, DRS enabled, and over the line it's a 17.249, that's P6, he can't join his team on the front, we're not even close. Drills Valentine now on his first lap of the session. Well, he was on one earlier, but he abandoned it. 27.291 first sector, it's a very good start to the lap. That is pretty much on Flavors level, no? No, not quite, it's about a 10th off, 10th and a half. But still, a good start to the lap from Drills Valentine. Attacking those curbs very nicely. That looked a really good middle sector as well. I think Jules Valentine is on for a very good lap here. 54.4 middle sector. He could go top 3, I reckon. This is hell of a lap so far. Not sure about that first or two to happen. Not sure about that one either. I think he's lost a bit of time in the last sector there, but the first two were great. It's a 16.505, so P4. And yeah, I think he definitely lost a bit in the final sector, so there's even more pace in that. Promising stuff from Jules Valentine. Takes Dylan, Arsenio on out. Arsenio just about to start one. See, Viral's on another run. He's 1.5 tenths up in the first sector. Aussie into the last corner right now, 1.5 tenths up. So this could put him onto the front row, but Viral, of course, already improving. And he does go into the front row, does Aussie, gaining 2 tenths, but Viral himself up by 1.5. That's going to be an invalidation, though. What? What? How's that legal? FIA. He's up by 2 tenths and he's definitely just exceeding the track limits. He's gotten very lucky there because this will be, I believe, provisional pole position. And over the line for Viral, it's a 15.928. Yep, that is provisional pole position for Viral. As Flavor's going to start another lap here. Maxi also underway. I think he just finished one actually as he went 5th fastest. Yeah, 16.657. Marcelio most of the way around his first qualifying lap. And Dylan just getting started as well. And so is Pix. It's a 55.4 middle sector for Marcelio. And into the final 2 corners he goes. Can just put himself in a good spot for the race later on. The is enabled. It's a 17.743. That's P8. About half a second missing to the next car of Bazooka. Fix and Dylan, so far so good. Just like go above Dylan though, he goes completely through the grass, and that's gonna lose him a ton of time. What about Flavors? So far also so good. 1.5 tenths gained in the first, a bit lost in the middle sector. 37 thousandths up right now. So he lost about a tenth in that middle sector. Let's see if he can have a good final sector and get that pole position back off Viral. And behind him, Dylan and Ewek. Currently 10th and 11 without lap times. This is a crucial one for them as well. They haven't got that much time left. 15.963, it's not quite enough. He stays in P2, does Flavors. Dylan goes into 5th place despite the mistake where he drove over the grass. He does get beaten by Ewek immediately. Very close between the two of them, 11 thousandths. And less than a tenth separating them both from Jules Valentine ahead. And less than a tenth as well behind to Maxi. So yeah, 1.5 tenths pretty much from 4th to 7th right now. But we know Dylan has got a ton of time in that lap. I mean, we literally saw him completely drive through the grass on the exit of the chicane. So I expect him to go a lot faster later on. And now we are, yep, in the calm before the storm. 5 minutes to go. Flavors, Pix and Dylan all on the way back to the pit lane. Everybody else sitting in the pit lane and waiting to go out for the last time here. What are these two up to? Don't get good penalties, lads. That would be so silly. That was a nice little battle, and Dylan wins the race into the pit lane. Viral and Jules Valentine going out early, 4.5 minutes to go, so they want to try and avoid the traffic by going out already. And the crucial thing for them now would be that they have to start their laps before everybody else leaves the pit lane, otherwise they will be caught with them doing out laps, and that is of course, even if they don't fully block you, there is of course the risk of that, so that's already not good. But even if they do get out of your way, it's still distracting having to pass multiple cars on the lap. But I think Jules Valentine will be fine, as he's already coming into the last 2 corners. There's 1 car coming out right now, 2 cars coming out. But Viral might be in a bit of bad timing there, as he might have a whole lot of cars in his way on his lap. That's Aussie and always coming out of the pit lane. Jules Valentine starting his final run with 3.5 minutes to go. Braking at the 100 meter board for the first corner. Using all of the track available on the exit and a bit more going over the curb somewhat. Braking at 75 meters for turn 2, goes a tad deep. But nothing too major, still a good first sector I would say. Let's see how it compares to his previous sector 1. 30 thousandths down. So a slight time loss, but the lap definitely still on. And he's definitely still going to be able to improve, I think. And now into the middle set, this is where most of the time can be found or lost. And that has definitely lost him a bit of time there, that little wobble through the chicane. Let's have a look at his teammate Viral. Gaining 84 thousandths in the first sector, and that was so committed, almost fully flat out. But that's going to be an invalidation for Jules Verne. No, but he abandons the lap actually. Once again though, going off track there in that same corner Viral did, and the game not invalidating him. But Jules Valentine I think will try again next lap, but he will be low on EIS. So that's putting him on the back foot. Oh, that's lost Jules Valentine, oh sorry, Viral some time for sure, dipping the tire on the grass on the exit there. 1.5 tenths up though. And now with a good final sector, Viral could secure himself pole position here. He already has it as it stands, but the gap is fairly small. So an improvement here would be absolutely massive. Good final corner. Could have carried a bit more speed maybe, I would say. It's a 15.869. He's lost a bit in the final sector, but still is an improvement. Aussie, 30 thousandths up in the first sector. Owise, 11 thousandths up in the first sector. Jules Valentine, once again, has had to abandon the lap. So he won't be improving that 16.505 we saw earlier. Aussie, coming up to the end of sector 2. Keeping all take mode enabled with lifting, certainly a strat, 83 thousandths up. And then Owise, 67 thousandths up. So small improvements for them both that won't get them pushing as it stands. But maybe they can find a bit more time in the final sector. Aussie, that looks pretty scrappy. And that will be an improvement, I'm pretty sure. I don't think Aussie will improve. Yep, lost too much time in the last sector. Owise over the line. Will he improve? Yes, he has gained 2 tenths, but it's not enough to beat Maxi in 7th. And the positions all stay the same. So Emacs starting a lap now. Jules Valentine and Rival already did the laps. Flavors behind that starting lap. Then Bazooka starting a lap. Then finally we found someone Maxi, but he's through the grass there. And that is his lap ruined as well. So next one is Dylan. Currently in 6th on a 16.595, and he would have gained a lot of time right there. Of course, last lap we saw him go through the grass right there. So how much time has Dylan actually lost to that? Let's see, as we come to the end of sector 2. 3.5 tenths up. So this could put him into 4th place. Well, that would already put him to 4th place. And if he has good finals there, maybe he can have a go at Aussie for 3rd. We wait and see. 20 seconds left to go in the session, so this is everyone's last lap. No more chance for sure here. And through the last corner for Dylan. That is going to be a 1:16.295. That is 4th place. It's not enough for Aussie. Maxi not improving. Marcelio improving by 4 tenths. He might be able to beat Bazooka as he goes over the line. And not quite. It's very close, but it's not enough. Aussie and always back to the pit lane. Picks 4.5 tenths up. Can he maybe steal 3rd place off Aussie? That's a 16.091. Yes, he can. We've got Bazooka and Flavors still going. Bazooka up by a 10th in the first step. Flavors up by a 10th after the can Flavors now steal pole position away from Viral at the last possible moment. He needs pretty much exactly a 10th, and right now he's got that. With a good final sector, this could be Flavors on pole position. Through the last corner. Autic mode available. DRS mode available. 15.753 for Flavors, and it is just over a 10th. That puts him ahead of Viral onto pole position. Bazooka now around the final corner. Currently in 9th, 117.249. How good was this lap? 117.072. It's a small improvement, but he stays in 9th place. Maxi is going around slowly, and that means qualifying is over. It is Flavors on pole position, followed by his championship rival Viral alongside him on the front row. Then Pix in 3rd place, with Aussie in 4th, Dylan rounding out top 5, followed by Jules Valentine in 6th, Maxi not far behind that in P7, followed by Always, who is only 15,000 behind Maxi in 8th. Bazooka in 9th, the first driver outside the 116s, with Marcelio rounding out the top 10. Finally, the Kaiser in P11, and of course Mihai with that qualifying man, starting from P12, last on the grid here in Hungary. Now once again we have the full result screen up. And that's where we're getting ready for the race. The strategy could actually be quite interesting. We know it's going to be heavy wet for a long time. So our drivers are going to be going for the full wet compound. We know it's pretty awful in this game. But who knows, maybe it's wet enough for the full wets when you have to set the custom weather. We shall see, but I think the best option for sure would be the intermediate. And here we are then on the grid, and it is absolutely pissing it down. So, having a look at the tires, we have got mostly Inters right now. Always is on the wets, Kaiser and Mihai are on the wets. And I think now we've got into formation lap, so I think Mihai actually stayed in the wets, and so is Kaiser. Yep, that is intermediates for the entire top 10, full wets for Kaiser and Mihai. And I think that's a mistake. I mean, it does look very, very wet. So they will be fast off the start. But will it stay that way for long? I doubt it. The dry line comes in fairly quickly on this game. And then the intermediates will be the much better choice. And those two will have to make a pit stop. So the only way really that can work is if they go long enough that the Inters are also going to stop soon. And they don't have to make an extra stop over everybody else. So then Flavors lining up on the racing line for pole position. Viola gets the inside line in second. And lining up behind them in third, there's Ewek. Who can win the start? Who will lead down towards turn 1? And that will be very crucial in these wet conditions. No DRS, of course, so overtaking will be pretty difficult. If you can take the lead off the start, you're in a good position. Flavors on the right, Viola on the left. 5 red lights are out. And we're on the way here in Hungary, and that's a good start from Flavors, it looks like. Pulling ahead of Rival, who's all out of shape there on traction. That's a Aston Martin already off before the first corner even. Flavors leads into turn 1. Rival under attack from Ewek behind, but he gets barged out the way by Aussie, who's outbraked himself. Vile with a good exit pulls back alongside Flavors, but then Flavors pulls ahead on the second stage of traction and holds on to the lead. Now, in the background, that is Dylan and Jules Valentine side by side through turn 2. Always has gone off the track at the second corner as Maxi slipped through, and Mihai already out to 8th. He's making ground and he gets shoved off the track there, and that's more contact at Jules Valentine and Dylan side by side down the straight. One of them ends up in the grass. That shouldn't really be happening. And here we see Mihai on the full west trying to make progress, but dips the tire on the grass and gets all out of shape there on the outside line. Dylan now pulling ahead of Maxi into 5th place. Always getting past Bazooka in the background there. It looks like side by side through the chicane, but Always has got the advantage on the inside line and pulls ahead. Mihai now trying to make use of those full wets. He's still stuck behind Jules Valentine now, holding it around the outside into the S section. Gets shoved off the track, Slamod. Couldn't really see it all too much, not sure we see it on track. But once again, he's got the outside line now into this usually fat out right-hander, but he gets so out wide and gets so much on the wet line. He can't complete the move despite having, I think, the better tire right now. But that's the problem. It is pretty difficult to overtake in these conditions. And the Aston Martin off before the first corner was Kaiser. He's currently already 3 seconds back from the field. Now trying to make up that ground, get back into the fight for the points. And Flavors under big pressure from Viral. We know Viral is absolutely rapid in these conditions. And he's going to want to take that lead and run away with this race. He's alongside Flavors into turn 1. Can he outbrake him? On the inside. Flavors still there on the outside. Viral has to leave him the room. Gets a little bit out of shape. He has actually pulled ahead on traction. Flavors going to try and come back at him now, the slipstream into turn 2. But I think Viral has pulled ahead and holds on to the lead. Mihai is finally past Jules Valentine, now 1.5 seconds to Maxi out in front. And we'll see if he can catch up. Flavors getting stuck on the curb there on the outside, and now Ossie will try and take advantage of that, but backs out coming into turn 4. Doesn't want to take that risk. Stops in back behind him. Mihai already starting to close in on Maxi ahead of him. If these full wets stay fast for long, this could end up being an absolutely amazing strategy call for him. But it could also end up being the thing that decides that he is not going to be the fight for anything this race. If he has to make a stop while nobody else does. And I think I can start to see a dry line form. That's bad news for Mihai and Kaiser. They'll be slower on the full wets than everybody around them. Viral is already 2 seconds clear out in front. His wet pace is absolutely unbelievable. Dylan and Pix now locked in the battle for the last sector, and Dylan trying to go around the outside there, but he gets off the track. And actually Maxi's going to slip back through on Dylan, it looks like. Unless Dylan's going to try and send it into the last corner. And Dylan almost round, almost into the pit wall. And here comes Mihai with the switchback now on Dylan. I think Dylan's just glad he's in this race still, because that was almost an absolute disaster. Both of them now burning overtake. And Dylan tire hawking Mihai. I'm not sure if that's intentional. If it is, he's yeah, it's like an esports fight strategy. And out in front, that's Ossie getting past Flavors for second place. He has pulled the move off this time. Mihai and Dylan still side by side on the exit of turn 1 into turn 2. Now Dylan on the inside outbreaks Mihai. Mihai opting for the switchback, but he can't quite force his nose into that gap. But now look at the traction through turn 3. And Mihai absolutely leaves Dylan in the dust. Dylan into 6th position now, and on the back of Maxi and Fix all over the back of Flavors. Flavors struggling in these conditions. Viral already 4 seconds clear now on lap 3 of this race. Ossie's already a second clear of Flavors after only passing him at the start of this lap. Fix looking for a move on Flavors here. Flavors definitely holding this train up. So far, nothing doing for anyone in this train. Look at Maxi! I think he's outbraked himself. I don't think he meant to go for that move. On the wag, and now Mihai will try and take advantage. Scott his nose up the inside there. But there's Dylan taking advantage of all of that. Completely out of nowhere. Sends it around the outside of Mihai, trying to come back at him for P6. There, contact! And Mihai is off into the grass. Thankfully for him, he has managed to catch that. That's cost in position to Dylan, and now Jules Valentine is in the fight as well now. Oh, they make contact as well, Jules Valentine. What a save. But always now with the run. It's a bit too far back. Oh, is he? Oh, God. How's he got that stopped? Holy shit. Did Jules Valentine just break so early? Always from an absolute mile back. Goes up the inside, gets the position. And now Jules Valentine goes into the back of Always into turn 2. On the exit, Always pulls back in front and holds on to 8th. Pig still stuck behind Flavors, who's lost 3 seconds to Ossie in that one lap. He is not looking fast at all in these wet conditions. Has he picked up damage somewhere? Why is he this slow? No, that front wing is intact. But there is a dry line very much forming already. Right now it looks like Mihai is still decent in terms of pace. But he's not like miles faster than the rest of these guys around him, at least I don't think so. Because he hasn't been able to really get past people as easily as he should be if his tire was better. As I stated, he gets past Dylan, but Dylan was very slow down that straight. He must have made a mistake somewhere. So Mihai can now try and get past Maxi. Oh, gets a little bit loose. And this train from Flavors to Dylan, from 3rd to 7th, is the one to look out for right now. Viral, already 5 seconds clear, puts another new fast lap of the race. Track is definitely improving. Only 5 laps in. So we'll only get faster from here with the rain being washed away by everyone, of course, doing laps around the track. Dylan, very late in the brakes, got to stop actually. I mean, Mihai was just early. He did lock up the tires quite aggressively, that will of course a bit of wear. Flavor's doing a good job out in front to hold on to 3rd place, but you can tell he hasn't got the pace. But it's exactly what I was talking about before the start of this race, why having P1 so crucial. It's unbelievably difficult to overtake without DRS, and with a dry line as well now. If you go offline, you're so much slower. It's, yeah, as long as Flavors just kind of keeps his tires in the dry line, there isn't a whole lot Ewa can do. Because he, if he wants to overtake him, he has to go off the dry line into the wet part, and that will slow him down a lot. And he doesn't have much of a straight line speed advantage either without DRS. So he has to do it the old-fashioned way, without any DRS assistance. So the combination of dirty air and the fact he has to go into the wet line if he wants to try and get past Flavors, making it very, very tricky. So despite the fact that I think Flavors is the slowest driver really in right now, out of this group, he will hold on to that position quite nicely. So Mihai and Dylan are still locked in the battle. Another fast lap to race from Viral, another second faster, and last lap. The track is getting faster and faster. But the gap from Flavors to Aussie is 7 seconds. Aussie and Viral are absolutely gone. Dylan and Mihai locked in the battle into turn 1 there. Dylan on the outside, on the dry line. But Mihai gets the dry line throughout the corners. He has the inside line and can dictate where he goes. Dylan looking back up the inside to turn 2, sends it on the brakes, but goes sailing straight on. And Mihai with the switchback gets the position right back off him. Up ahead, Higgs and Maxi still can't make anything happen here. Must be very frustrating to be stuck like that. And I was gonna say see Aussie driving into this, but at this point I can't even see him, he's completely gone. Another bit of a train forming there behind Always. That's Bazooka having a look up the inside on Jules Valentine in the S section. But the side's better off that one. We've got Always, Jules Valentine and Bazooka locked in the battle over P8 there. So 2 trains right now, from Flavors to Dylan and from Always to Bazooka. And we'll see if there's any battles happening throughout those trains. We've got Pigs pretty close behind Flavors now. If we can have a good exit through here, they're pretty much equal on ERS, except Mihai into the pit lane now. So going for the intermediate, bailing out of that strategy, and definitely was a mistake, that strategy. Kaiser spun around at the hairpin, but Flavors is able to hold on against Pigs into the first corner. Maybe out of turn 2 with a good exit. Still nothing. The Kaiser in the pit lane as well now, going off those wets onto some of the intermediates. And there's just not enough road to make a move happen. Kaiser speeds in the pit lane, gets a 10-second penalty to add to his misery of that spin already. Puts himself far away from Marcelio, who was battling earlier. There's Jules Valentine, who I think was alongside Bazooka maybe. But he couldn't complete the move. Oh, and also Bazooka overtook him. Oh, and Jules Valentine all over the place here. Must be overheating or something. The car is being very rude. Very snappy. Just stop brakes normally and the rear steps out completely. Marcelio picks up a 3-second time penalty as he has received multiple track limit warnings. Mihai and Kaiser back out on track. Mihai 10 seconds back from Marcelio, Kaiser another 20 seconds back from Mihai. Now to me the question is if those intermediate runners can one stop to the dry phase, or if they have to make 2 stupid stops. Mihai and Kaiser, I'm fairly certain, will have to make 2 pit stops before it goes dry. So they essentially have to make up a full pit stop for that strategy of theirs to work. Jules Valentine has gotten back past Bazooka as Maxi is a nice one on Pix. Pix covers the inside, and Maxi uses the dry line to outbreak him on the outside. But now Pix with the dry line coming out of the corner. Maxi is still there somewhat. Yep, now pulling back ahead into turn 2. And they bang wheels. Maxi pulls ahead through the corner as E-Wake goes off into the grass, and there's Dylan swooping around the outside as well. And Pix loses 2 places in one corner to first Maxi and then Dylan. The gap out in front at this point, 11.5 from Flavors to Aussie, 6 from Aussie to Viral. Looking very, very good for me. If you have a look, Viral is 18 seconds clear of Flavors, 8 laps in. He's lapping more than 2 seconds a lap faster than Flavors. And even Aussie, he is nowhere near able to match Viral's pace. I think as soon as we saw this wet race being predicted in the first qualifying, we could have figured it would happen. Aussie actually beats Viral's fast lap of the race. And if you look at EAS, they're pretty similar, so that's just pace. So maybe Aussie is not out of this. Maybe he can... well, he also has to catch up by 6 seconds even if he is faster, so that's still tough. But the race is long, I don't know, so maybe a safety car can help him out there. And Flavors goes deep! And that allows Maxi and Dylan to get alongside him. Dylan backing out over the course of the straight. And Flavors pulls back ahead of Maxi as well. And there's Dylan, who goes up the inside of Maxi, takes advantage of Maxi, maybe trying to back out of the move against Flavors. Now Dylan around the outside into turn 3. Gets all over the curb on the outside. That's cost him the run on the exit. And Maxi pulls back ahead, holds up the 4th place. A really nice battle that was between Flavors, Maxi and Dylan. But it ends with them staying exactly where they were. And at this point, there really is no rush for Maxi and Dylan because they're not going to catch the cars ahead, are they? So they are all just racing each other here. Flavors to E-Wake to Pix. I keep swapping back and forth between saying E-Wake and saying Pix. Because of course his in-game name is Pix, but we all know him as E-Wake. It's just weird. Brown with another fast lap of the race, 34.4. I think he put a second on Aussie that lap. And Kaiser picks up the 3-second time penalty now for having multiple track warnings. Mihai only 4 seconds back from now from Marcelio, so he's getting back into the fight somewhat. Even after Marcelio has left another 6 seconds to this train, then another 6 seconds to the train he was in earlier. So there's a long way to go still to get back into the race that he was in earlier, into this fight for the podium. Jules Valentine always locked in the battle for turn 1. Always going for the switchback on Jules Valentine, who was going up the inside earlier, and he has pulled that one off quite nicely. Maybe Jules Valentine can get back into turn 2. He's a tad too far back and doesn't want to go for a dive bump like that. I think this battle is far from over. Jules Valentine a bit too good of a run and gets out on the curb on the exit as he was a bit too early on the throttle, but that run could have been quite nice if he had kept it off that curb, but he bottomed out and lost the momentum. Oh, look at Dylan, actually pushing Maxi here. Kaiser in the pit lane for the 2nd time this race, and that will actually put him a lap down on Viral and he retires in the Grand Prix. And Dylan with a big send! Oh, he almost took Flavors out completely there. Misses the corner completely and somehow ends up not losing any from that, but that could have ended in an absolute disaster. I'm not sure if he was trying to dive bomb Maxi or if he was just, I don't know, falling asleep and missed his braking point. But now Maxi could be close enough to pass Flavors, and I think Flavors is on lower wings, and look at him pulling away. Despite Maxi having the ES enabled and having slipstream, he's not really able to pull close to him. And Flavors covers the inside quite nicely. They both go straight on. And Dylan was too far back to take advantage. That was his chance. As both Maxi and Flavors outbrake themselves. But they hold on to P3 and P4 exactly where they were. The gap from Flavors to Aussie at this point, by the way, 18 seconds. Aussie could probably pit and come out in front of him. It's absolutely crazy. Mihai has caught up to the back of Marcelio here. Which is the first guy he has to overtake on his way back towards the top 5. Definitely a strategy error, I would say. But the race for him is far from over. He's not that far away from the field, because I think Flavors is doing him a real solid there, holding everyone up so much that I think it's not possible he still gets a podium out of this. First he has to get around Marcelio. Kicks alongside Dylan into the last 2 corners here. Is he gonna try and hold it around the outside for the last corner? I think, yep, he is trying, but he gets onto the wet part and gets all out of shape, loses out. Maxi once again looking for the run against Flavors. I think he's once again a tad too far back. Flavors covers the inside. Maxi going for the switchback. He sent Flavors a dummy. But he got body blocked by Flavors on the apex in the corner and couldn't go anywhere, and that's cost him the overtake once again. Thankfully no damage for him as he went into Flavors. Mihai has gotten past Marcelio, but Marcelio is not giving up yet. Marcelio going back up the inside into turn 1. Has he outbraked himself? No, he gets that car stopped quite nicely actually. Still Mihai going for the switchback, and they are now side by side on the run into turn 2. Mihai has the outside line, Marcelio has the inside. Mihai on the dry part of the track, Marcelio goes sailing on, and Mihai with this time pulls off the switchback and gets himself into 10th place. And I think that's the end of that battle, as Marcelio, yep, is too far back to go for the overtake into turn 4, and our tire advantage and just a general pace advantage that I would say Mihai has on Marcelio. He will now begin to pull away over the course of the middle sector. 8 seconds now to this train of Bazooka, Jules Valentine and Always. And then another 7 seconds to the next train. And Marcelio picks up a 3-second time penalty there, multiple track limit warnings. The gap between Val and Aussie is fairly stable at 7 seconds, but the gap between Flavors and Aussie is just increasing at multiple seconds a lap, I think. We're only lap 13, Flavors is 22 seconds back from Aussie. It's absolutely incredible the pace that Aussie and Val have got over Flavors. I would love to see actually if Maxi, Dylan or Pix could like stay with them somewhat, and if they're just losing so much time behind Flavors. And Maxi under attack by Dylan, who goes up the inside into the first corner. They both go a tad deep, as Maxi I think was trying to give Dylan some space as well. Marcelio in the pit lane on lap 13. Dylan very loose on traction. Outbrakes Maxi on the outside. Now gets onto the wet part. He's gonna get ahead of him there, I don't think so. Maxi, yeah, pulls back ahead. Maxi actually missing his front left end plate. Not sure when he lost that. Maybe he did get some... Ah! Maybe he did get some damage when he made that contact with Mihai. What was Marcelio up to? We're definitely not in dry conditions. He will just crash, surely. What are we doing? Has he, like, messed up? Or is he taking the piss? A full TC is a joke. He's just full throttle everywhere, and nothing's happening to him. Oh my god. Yeah, the car is not accepting any throttle input at all from the traction control. So he's able to go around, but of course he is much slower than anybody else. A real interesting strategy there by Marcelio, and that's I think put to bed any chance of him scoring a point in this Grand Prix. As he will be lapped by Viral and Aussie fairly soon. Overtaking just seems to be completely impossible. Maxi has been stuck behind Flavors for a long time now. Now Jules Valentine stuck behind Always as well. Without much hope, it looks like, of an overtake. I think Dylan dropped back behind Ewek at some point. Maybe... Ah, he's not quite close enough, is Maxi. And Flavors still defending well. You can't say much positive things about his pace today, considering the gap he has with the cars ahead. But defending is great. Marcelio tries to go back to the pit lane, actually fucks it up. And has to go around for another lap on the mediums. As Always picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. And that will be an advantage for Jules Valentine and Bazooka trying to beat him to P7. Jules Valentine with a big moment. But Bazooka can't capitalize. Varo with another fast lap of the race, 34.4. Extends the gap to Aussie by about half a second that lap. 7.5 seconds between Varo and Aussie. And they are in a complete league of their own today. Maxi's damage definitely costing him time. Flavor seems to have found a bit of a safety margin now to himself and the next car. As Maxi's into the pit lane. Lap 15, so tad early going for the undercut. Try and get around Flavors. Which definitely is smart. Track position is the way to go today. Dylan looking for the run on E-Wake, but he's just a tad too far back here. Won't be able to do it. And Maxi, of course, will be going for slow off the inters and a wing change as well for Maxi. That wing damage affecting him too much to keep it going without a change. Marcelio now almost lapped. There we go. Here's Viral. About to lap the Ferrari man. And that puts to bed any chance of Marcelio hoping for a safety car as well. And he pulls off the right hand side. Make sure not to hold up Viral whatsoever. And Maxi has come out the pit lane in 10th place, 13 seconds back from Mihai. Of course, Mihai with a pit stop still to do, I would say. Unless the rain stops soon enough for those tires to make it. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to rain. He's got still 5 seconds to Bazooka, Jules Valentine. Always he's got 3 seconds already. Marcelio this time he has made the pit entry and can go for a new intermediate. And he gets a speeding penalty. Well, I swear I saw him enable the limiter like a kilometer early. And new tires in the race as well. So that leaves us with just 10 cars. Everybody left in this race will be scoring at least 1 point. Dylan up the inside on Pix. Pix goes. And Dylan goes right through him. Pix has left the session. A disconnect. Right as Dylan was trying to overtake him. And that is really unlucky. Marcelio has left the session as well. Because, well, he's, yeah, he has retired the pit lane, so he can leave. And that disconnect is really going to cost Pix. So now Dylan has pulled through and will pull away from him. Maxi is on a tough strategy here. He needs to basically make up 5 seconds from that front wing change. And then some if he wants to get past Flavors. So I wonder if that's going to be possible, if he can get up into 3rd place. And out ahead of this this whole battle he was stuck in. That train behind Flavors now has sort of disappeared a tad bit. He's gapped Dylan. Pix, of course, with disconnect losing out a bit of pace. And Maxi pulling into the pit lane has separated them all a tad. 30 seconds the gap from Aussie to Flavors. Only 16 laps into the race. And I'm not sure when Aussie passed him, but it definitely was not on lap 1, so yeah, Aussie is 2 seconds lap faster than Flavors, and he's still 8 seconds behind Viral, so roughly half a second slower than Viral. So yeah, Viral is like about 2.5 seconds a lap faster than Flavors, which is absolute insanity. I have no idea how Viral is so good in the rain compared to everybody else in Division 3. But he just gets it, I guess. He's just... I've never seen... I mean, of course, I've seen people who are, like, confident in the wet, who like the wet, who are a bit faster on the wet than they are on the dry. But never this change. Like, Viral is one of the fastest here in Division 3 in the dry. Like, track dependent, of course. He's in the championship fight, not by mistake or by luck or something. He's there because he is fast, because he, yeah, is one of the best here. But when it gets to the rain, he's just miles clear of everyone. It's weird. It shouldn't be that extreme of a difference, but it just is. Dylan is catching back up to the rear of Flavors. Battle for third, heating back up. And we are over halfway into the race already, so I think these guys, considering none of them pit so far, might be trying to go to the dry phase on one set of intermediates, which is going to be tough, I would say. Depends how much longer it's going to rain. I don't know their tire wear, but for sure it's a gamble. Mihai is almost caught up now to Bazooka. So this battle for 6th will have another car joining it soon. Pix is back in control of his car. Dylan now on the back of Flavors. Flavors definitely far enough ahead to turn 1 here that Dylan can't pass him. Or is he, Dylan? Flavors. If that was a collision, that would have probably been Flavors' fault, because even though Dylan sent it late on the inside, moving and braking like that is just not acceptable. We've had multiple penalties handed out for that already, and seemingly, I don't know, the drivers are not learning from it. You can't change your line in the braking zone. Got lucky that Dylan broke just about early enough that he didn't go back of him, but that could have ended Flavors' race right there. And he would only have himself to blame for that. Zuka very close to the back of Jules Valentine, but this is not a corner you really want to go set aside through. Didn't quite have enough of a run either. And here's Mihai now. Has joined the fight. Another fast lap race from Viral on 18 lap old tires. Absolutely incredible. So the tires can't be that bad if he's doing fast lap of the race on them. And actually Aussie beats it immediately. And Dylan right up behind Flavors here. Definitely seems to be faster. Dylan looking for a dive bomb again, and he is collided with Flavors there. And that was just not on that move. Not sure what Dylan was thinking there, trying to go for that. He doesn't seem to have damage. He's gotten very lucky. Oh, he has got damage. Front end plate for Dylan gone, and that is completely his own fault, and as he went for a very silly move there. And once again, Flavors this time covers the middle of the track. Dylan tries to go for the switchback, but he doesn't have the turning anymore with that wing damage to actually pull it off. And Flavors covers the middle of the track again. Dylan goes around the outside. And is he gonna get past Flavors here? Maybe. He gets out wide and exit. And he's still stuck behind. And I think that wing damage cost him in that duel. Without the damage, he would have gotten past him. And now Mihai right up behind Bazooka. Can he find a way past him? Not here. Now there's a problem we've seen this entire race. Overtaking is unbelievably difficult. Yeah, I had a half look out the inside there, but that was just not on. Still, apart from Mihai and Maxine, no one has made a pit stop in this race. Everybody else, well, they don't actually have to. They can go to the end on one intermediate legally. But it surely won't last the whole race, but they're trying to go to the dry phase. So for them, it will be very important that it stops raining soon. Sooner the better. And now Dylan is definitely losing a bit of pace from that damage. Not as close to Flamers as he was earlier. And back here also no one really close enough to the other car ahead of him for a move. Maybe Mihai has a run on Bazooka here. Bazooka covers the middle of the track. Mihai will go for the outside. He uses the dry line to his advantage. And to switch back to the first corner. But he gets into the back of Bazooka. Bazooka gets out of shape on the exit, and Mihai is right up behind him. But it's just a bit too far back, and the straight is just a bit too short for the slipstream to have much of an effect, and he's still stuck behind him. 3-second penalty now to Jules Valentine, running in 7th, and that is going to cost him the position against Always, Bazooka, and Mihai. He would have had Always on pens, now he doesn't anymore, and of course Bazooka and Mihai are right up behind him. And now maybe Mihai has a run into the chicane. And there's not really an overtaking opportunity there. It's a bit too tight, and he wasn't alongside into the corner, so dive bombing into there definitely isn't the play. And he still has to wait for his opportunity. Bazooka getting loose throughout most of the corners, but Mihai just in that dirty air, you know. Not getting the run he needs. Look at Dylan and Flavors. I don't think Dylan is close enough here. And Flavors will defend for another lap. The rain is getting less and less now, I think. So we are moving closer towards a dry tire. Definitely not yet. The rain hasn't even stopped. But the rain will stop shortly, I would imagine, with how much less rain we're seeing now. And still, or maybe Jules Valentine get past Always here now, as he's maybe this breaking point at a little bit there. Jules Valentine is alongside on the outside into the second corner. Sparks flying there as the front wings touch actually. Jules Valentine still there on the outside, turns to the inside for next corner. Always gets out on the curb, loses his momentum, and Jules Valentine finally, he's been stuck behind him for so long now, gets past him up into P6, and we'll see if he can break away from him. Very close up behind Flavors here. Can he find the gap? Can he force a mistake from Flavors? He's made his life very tough with that mid damage, but he still seems to be faster than Flavors with how close behind him he's driving. And here's Mihai on the back of Bazooka, but also he's not finding the gap he needs. Still no pit stops from anyone. Maxi is getting closer to that train as well on his fresh tires. 5 seconds now left between him and Mihai. And Dylan very close behind Flavors. Can he find a gap on the outside now? Sets up switchback, but Flavors gets the car stopped on the apex nicely, and that means Dylan can't hold complete the switchback. And he will have to wait another lap at least. Fast lap of the race now for Maxi on those fresh tires. 33.6. Beating the lap that Ossi put in earlier. And still just no chance for Mihai to overtake Bazooka. He's a bit too far back all the time. Because he only has a 6-lap tire advantage. Viral beats the fast lap of the race that Maxi did on 22 lap old inters against fresh ones. And Dylan has gotten past Flavors, and I missed it! Finally! It has taken, what, 20 laps since Ossi? For someone else to finally get past him in that time. Ossi has built a gap of 40 seconds. So Dylan, if you want to get more than the P3 here, you're gonna have to get a move on. Yeah, finally, Dylan will think he's gotten past him. And he can now try and drive away. Use that pace advantage he seems to have over Flavors to secure himself a podium spot in this race. But that is going to be the absolute maximum, unless there is some kind of safety car or red flag in the last 12 laps of this race. Ossi and Viral are absolutely gone, and you won't be seeing them again. Yeah, 3 tenths back from Bazooka is a little bit too far. And Maxi with the fast lap of the race, once again on those fresh inters, track is drying out more and more. So we are getting close for it to be time for slicks. And a 3-second time penalty now for Flavors. done so well all race. To defend, to avoid time penalties, to hold on to those positions he's had. And now he will drop behind, well, he's already behind Dylan on track. The penalty will certainly keep him behind him, and Pix has a good chance as well to beat Flavors on penalties. Fast lap race from Viral, beating Maxi's time once again. That would have been attractive mid-morning for Mihai, I think. He's now right up behind Bazooka. Can he find a way past him? There's just too tight of a track layout here in this middle sector. Maybe up the center here? No. Decides better of it. Mihai doesn't want to risk that. And Maxi now picks up a 3-second time penalty right as he catches up to this train. And he's got a big tire advantage. 8 laps over Mihai, 14 over everybody else. And if that rain doesn't come soon, Maxi could be in a great spot here. The only problem for him is, well, 1, he's got a penalty, 2, he has to overtake all of these guys, and we're seeing how much Mihai has struggled, he hasn't made a single overtake. Maybe Maxi will have better luck with a bigger tire advantage, we'll see. Another fast lap the race from him. Always cooling his tires down the straight already, pulling into the wet part of the track, so we are getting some overheating issues on the inside it seems, and Bazooka, with a good exit of turn 1, might get him. Nah. It's not quite possible, not quite enough there for Bazooka. Jules Valentine pulling away out in front, might get him out of 3-second range if it continues like this. There's Maxi on Mihai, on the exit of turn 2. But he gets out on the curb at turn 3 and has to settle back in behind. But Maxi already with an attack on Mihai. And Mihai should be the toughest one to overtake. He's the closest one to his, in terms of tires, as Aussie puts in a new fast lap the race. If Maxi can get Mihai, he can definitely get Bazooka over into Valentine as well. But there aren't that many laps to go. But it's going to get very exciting at the end. Once we get those dry tires on and Mihai going for the move on Bazooka, ruins his run on the exit, and that is going to allow Maxi through. Great driving on Maxi there, taking advantage. As Mihai was being aggressive against Bazooka, ruined his run on the exit. And immediately the switchback from Maxi came. And he's up into 9th. 1 move done. Let's see if he can get more. 14 lap tire advantage against Bazooka. Surely that will be enough to get him at some point. Maybe not to turn 1 here, but maybe to turn 2. The better exit that he should easily have on these tires. I think he's a little bit too far back, yeah. Bazooka will hold on towards turn 2. But it's definitely a question of when, not if, Max can get around him. And those tires will only get worse and worse, and they're on 30.6 for Val now. The lap time is getting faster and faster and faster. Despite the fact that the tires are still, from lap modus race, and by now 25 laps old. Maxi looking up the inside of Bazooka, but that's not an overtaking opportunity. Try and dive from there. Maybe to the chicane. He's a great run. Maxi sends him up the inside. They bang wheels and Maxi's almost round. They both stay on track though. Maxi catches it. No big harm done there, thankfully for them both. And Dylan is sort of keeping pace with Aussie, it looks like as well. The gap staying at pretty much back on 40 seconds. So yeah, Flavors definitely was just holding all those guys up. Well, the gap to Flavors is not as big as I thought it would be by now. Yeah, of course, not going to give up that easily. He might trunk up back at Maxi. Fast lap the race now from Dylan. Yep, he's got pace. 30.6. So I think Aussie and Viral can send a postcard to thank Flavors for his help today. Made their lives a whole lot easier. Giving them an absolutely massive gap behind. Maxi pretty close behind Bazooka now, coming out of turn 2. That's a terrible exit. And that means he will not get him here. He got past Mihai rather easily, and I figured that would be the most difficult one to do. But of course Mihai, well, the way he got past him is by catching him off guard while Mihai was trying to make moves himself. Bazooka has got no one in front of him to make moves on. So Maxi needs to do it without any sort of help by other cars. But we are getting very close into the race now, and surely these guys aren't going to zero stop to the end. I mean, I would think their tires will blow up at some point if they try and keep going like that. And here's Maxi up the inside. Oh, maybe on the exit. He's still alongside him, yep. Not quite, but back up the inside again to the second to last corner. No! He can't get alongside him properly. He is also close now, coming through the last corner. And Mihai back into the pit lane for the second time this race, and Bazooka gets out of shape through the grass, and that will be the run that Maxi needs, surely. Up the inside to turn 1, yep, under brakes, so late, but gets the car stopped on the apex, and that's a tire advantage coming into play there for Maxi, and he gets past Bazooka. So what's Mihai doing? Mihai is going for the rise! I'm not sure about that call, I think it's too early. But he's trying for a gamble, I guess. Yeah, I mean, he was going to finish 10th on track if not for that. If it works, he can gain some place, if it doesn't, he's still 10th. And we can see the direct comparison as he's come out right ahead of Rival, and have a look at this exit. I think that answers the question of what tires I want to be on right now. It isn't the medium. And that will be Mihai finishing this race down in 10th place. Maxi has dispatched Bazooka and is now already on the back of Always, trying to make more progress. He's trying to get past these people as well. He's got 3-second penalty, so as it stands, he would still finish 9th. And he can't really drive away from Bazooka while being behind Always. So Always having a penalty himself, that's a position for Maxi if he overtakes him, and it gives him the chance to build a gap in Bazooka. So this is a very crucial overtake that he has to do here. What's Mihai up to? Being slow. That tire's not the one. But it stopped raining now. It stopped raining. I think Mihai was just a lap too early as well. And there goes Maxi up the inside of Always into the first corner. And gets that 7th position off him. Always trying to switch back. Has a good run. Now to turn 2, and the track is drying out so quickly. It stopped raining like 2 corners ago. It's bone dry. What the hell? So, now you can have a look at the gap that Mihai has got to Bazooka. 27.9. If that starts going down, it's time to pit. Fast lap the race from Aussie. It's still going up slightly, that gap. It's not quite time for dries yet. The thing is, we are fairly close to the end. I don't think it's possible for any of the guys who haven't stopped so far. They would definitely puncture, because the tire will go through the roof now. But maybe Maxi could try and go to the end. Because there isn't many laps to go, it's only 6 laps to go now. Can you make a full pit stop window in that time? I don't know, I doubt it. .3. The gap from Mihai to Bazooka is stable now. And Dylan is in. Jules Valentine gets loose, and there goes Maxi right up the inside. Taking 6th place off him. Maxi pulls into the pit lane, and so does Jules Valentine. E-Mac up ahead in the pit lane as well. Everyone is in. Always staying out, and so is Bazooka. So, is it time for the rise? There's Dylan, out of pit lane in 6th, there's Pix. Maxi coming out ahead of Jules Valentine still. Viral in from the leader of the Grand Prix. Aussie following Mihai in. Mihai pitting for a 2nd time now. And retires from the race. Mihai! Seriously? Oh no. With 5 laps to go. That's the lobby dead. Well, I don't know what to say. That's quite an end to the race. Yeah, Mihai says his game crashed right as he retired, so he didn't. At least he says he didn't leave. I hope he didn't. If he did, that was pretty fucking stupid. Um, I'm not sure what we'll do in terms of results. I'd probably take the results from before the pit stop and just go with those as the official results. Apply any time penalties over that. Um, so yeah, I'll end the stream here. Thank you, lads, for watching. See you tomorrow for Division 2, and have a good evening, everyone.